This is part 3 of this video series, last part, and I'm going to talk about the guitar part. Second one was over voice, first one was over piano and drum. So, February 15th. I don't know where we are from the first and second video, but February 15th, that is when my brother, the guitarist for the song, sent me his part and also sent me a solo, which, wasn't requested of him, but he said he had fun playing it, so I didn't have to use it. He's just like, if we're interested, here it is. If not, it was fun to play, so whatever, fine with me. I'm like, okay, I'll, look into it later. I'll think about it. I want to make sure the main part is here and ready to go first. So I lined up his guitar part with the intro, or with the verses and the chorus and stuff, and got it all in place. And I noticed that the intro, the chords, they were really offbeat, and I had no idea why. Like, sometimes they would be playing with the song, sometimes they'd be way off from playing with the song. Like, what's going on? And I was like, oh no, whatever. I'll just cut it, right, and move the chords around, and we'll get it all lined up. So I started lining it up. I didn't do the whole thing. It's a big intro, but I started lining it up and noticed that there were clashing chords in there. It's like, what? I bought sheet music. I sent it to him. Did he not use it? So I emailed him and I, told him my dilemma. And he, in fact, did not use my sheet music. Thank you. He said he just played by ear and looked up some guitar tabs. Like, okay, well, they're wrong. So what are we going to do about it? He said that he could try to just re-record the whole thing, and I was like, the rest of it's fine enough. There was a little offness, but he said that the offness could have been because of his Bluetooth headphones that he uses. Sometimes there's a delay in what he hears. So he said he could redo the whole thing, and I said, yeah, you could, but you don't have to. Really, I just want you to redo the intro and then the Sean part, because that's the other part that has guitar strums in it. Like the intro, singled out guitar strums. The end of the song does too, but they're the same chords as the beginning of the song, so I could just copy paste and make it easy. Just do the intro and do that, or just play the single, whatever, right? And or I was like, or you could just do nothing, and I can try to fix it. I had an idea of what I would do to fix it. So see, let me say, yeah. So I figured if he took the out, then I just take this acoustic right here, and I just play those chords myself, right? I just record like each chord individually and just copy paste them in there. It's like, whatever. I could do that, but I'll give him the option first, because he could fix it. It probably wouldn't be hard for him. So March 5th, so it's nearing a month later, maybe 3 weeks or something. I messaged him because he hadn't gotten back to me yet. I was like, hey, what's your decision? And I sent him what I had, and he's just like, it's fine enough, just leave it as is. I'm like, alright, well, I wasn't real happy with that solution, so I was going to do what I said earlier and just play the chords myself. My guy got this guitar from his grandma, I think, when she died or something a long time ago, and I think his sister actually got the guitar, and then apparently I guess his sister didn't want it at some point, so then he got it. He's never touched it, and then we moved here, and I was like, all right, well, I'll just put it up in my music plant room. And you know, I don't play guitar, but it's better here than, you know, randomly in his bedroom or something. So that was my plan, to use that. So a couple weeks later, March 17th, it was a Wednesday, I had been talking to a guitar friend at work, and you know, I was telling him what I was going to do, and so I sent him a page for how to tune the guitar with the piano, and I was like, does this look good? And he's like, yeah, but that's fine, should work. He's like, you should also learn to tune it with the guitar strings themselves. You know, just because. I guess that's what they normally do, unless you use a tuner. I actually, oh, well, I have a tuner on my phone, some app or something, but anyway, I used the piano and just tuned it, you know, like that. Every string, just tuned it based on the piano. And then for fun, I went ahead and tuned it also using the strings. And so that was interesting. But while I was tuning, the high E string broke. What a surprise. The strings, based on what my guy was telling me, they got to be at least 6 years old. I don't know how long strings last, but I don't know. I just had this feeling that they probably, it was probably going to break. You know, they hadn't been touched in so long. I don't know. I just feel like they would break, and it did. So I found that I found a store down the road that sold musical instruments stuff. So I was going to plan to go there and buy some guitar strings. There were too many choices online, and I didn't know what to get. So, you know, I just wanted to play a few chords, and that's it. You know, so I'm like, I'll just go to the store. Surely they could just point me to some basic strings. So in that time, before the weekend came, I learned how to read guitar chords, because the sheet music is guitar chords. So if you see here, these are the chords I needed to play. Here we go. So this chord, this one, and this one, and then this one in the Sean part. It was just one chord. The other ones are repeats. So if you notice, two of them have bars. Well, I read that that's an advanced technique, and I guess it makes sense because I tried and I can't play a dang bar. I don't know how to play guitar. So, you know, I sent those chord diagrams to my work friend, and he said they were hard. I'm like, great. That's really what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear that these were pretty easy, and you're not going to have, you know, that difficult of a time. But no, they look pretty hard. I'm like, awesome. So so I decided that, you know, if I really needed to, I could, you know, I don't know, just lay the guitar down on the ground and just put down some real weight on the strings if I wasn't strong enough to hold them down, you know. You know, I haven't rock climbed in a long time, so I don't have the grip I used to. But and then I also got the idea that I could just buy a capo. I've seen people use those before for like changing the key on a guitar. I don't know how it works, but I figured I could use a capo to do the bar for me. Easy, right? Yeah. So I went to the store that weekend. It was an amazing experience. I walked in, the guy told me exactly what to get. I got it, and I was on my way, and they all worked great. I found a video for how to tune a guitar, and it seemed like it was pretty decent. I mean, or sorry, how to tune a guitar, how to string a guitar. You know, I don't know what I'm doing, but so I'm just guessing that it's decent. And I showed it to my work friend. He said it looked all right. So yeah, that weekend I spent, not that weekend, that weekend I bought the stuff. Monday I spent 1.5 hours stringing that freaking guitar. That was some work. I didn't know what I was doing, so of course it took forever. And yeah, so then, you know, I had showed a picture of the tuner pegs to my work friend. I was like, oh, how's it look? You know, I got it. And he's like, oh, 3 and 6 look a little iffy. I don't know if I remember anymore which ones 3 and 6 are, but maybe it was, I don't remember anymore. But anyway, and I was like, oh, they do? And I found out that, I don't know why you're going to be able to see this, but I think you're supposed to not have the wire overlapping itself in here. I think it's supposed to be nice and like spiraling down, I guess. The peg, like, probably can't see it very well, but this one, it's got a ton of overlap, and I think you're not supposed to do that, but the video didn't tell me not to do that, so I didn't know. So anyway, don't fall. I think he said it was, sorry, not 6 and 3, 6 and 2 looked iffy. But anyway, so the video said to tune it, that you would, you know, tune the string and you would stretch it out and stuff, and I confirmed with him that that was fine. He said he usually strums a little bit too, and then you basically just retune it. You just do that cycle over and over and over again until it stays in tune after the stretching and the strumming. I spent 2 hours in that cycle, endless cycle, and I was just like, all right, I'm done. This is tuned enough. We're good. Tomorrow I'm gonna play. So the only string that stayed tuned overnight was the high E string, and if you I don't know if you noticed, but it was wrapped very nicely. And he was right. 6 and 2 were problem children, and so was 3. And yeah, they were the worst to continue to go out of tune. So that was great. But anyway, I just, you know, had to retune it again each day that I wanted to play, and was like, whatever, good enough, right? It'll stay in tune long enough to play a chord, surely. So yeah, the bar chords weren't too bad. You know, I put the capo on there, and well, that was that. And I recorded, I think I recorded like 2 of these chords in one night, and then the next night I was going to record the other 2, but one of them was way too hard, and for the sake of my poor fingers, I pushed the last one to its own day. But this one, this chord, I believe, it has this muted, I can't, it's been so long, but I think maybe this was the high E string, this, the bottom string, this muted chord all the way on the right there, and I didn't know how to mute it. I feel like where my fingers, I couldn't reach the string to, you know, to touch it, to mute it. So what I did was I just strummed with my thumb, and I stopped on that string, just rested my thumb on that string, and I mean, that was muting it. It didn't play, so hey, job done. Good job figuring that one out. All right, so then, you know, so that wasn't so bad, but this one, the Shawn chord, this one right here, this was the hardest of all 4 chords. by far. Like I said, I had to push it into its own day. I can't remember if I rested a day in between or not. Probably not, but oh my gosh, it made my fingers hurt. And it, if you look, it has, so for the muted bottom string, I just treated it how I did the other one. I just didn't strum that one. I just rested my thumb on it. But this muted second string, I couldn't figure out how to mute it. Like, the chord was so hard. My fingers were just all sprawled out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how the heck do you play this thing? And I tried, I tried to get creative. I wrapped a piece of tape around the string, hoping that it would be touching it and mute it. It didn't really work. I tried to tie a piece of rubber band to it. That didn't work either. Nothing really worked. Just like touching the string wasn't quite the same. So eventually, I just concluded that I was just gonna have to play through the pain. I didn't know what else to do, so that's what I did. I was just like, all right, just press your fingers on there as hard as you can, and you just play. Just keep pressing and you play. And that's what I did. And I just did it over and over and over and over again until I got enough there, until I got it, So I did finally get it, but wow, was that really hard. So that was fun. I was like, okay, great. Now that I got these recorded, I'm going to copy paste where they should be and put it all together, and let's listen to the intro now. And I listened to it, and it wasn't good. Oh, it wasn't good. What happened? His strums on his recording on the guitar sound way different than my strums. I mean, we're using almost the same recorder. I used the external mics on my Zoom H6, and he has a Zoom H4n, I think. From my understanding, if I remember right, the mics aren't that different. I think they should sound round about the same. I asked him if he's playing acoustic guitar. It was a yes. I asked him if he was playing with a pick, and he said he just used his fingers or whatever. And so I just used my thumb to strum. Maybe I'm not understanding what use my fingers means. Like maybe it was, I don't know. But what I know is that they were like night and day different. I have no clue what happened. I don't know. So it didn't sound good though. It sounded like someone just like is playing a completely different guitar or instrument or something just randomly on these chords. The one saving grace was that the chords that I played on this guitar, they were all during singing parts. The chords that were during the non-singing parts were all him. So mine were a little hidden by the voices, so that was good. But still, it wasn't good, So I was like, what am I gonna do? I can't ask him to re-record. I already tried that, right? And he's busy and whatever. It just wasn't gonna happen. So, and my guitar friend at work said he didn't have an acoustic, otherwise he'd do it for me. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. So, anyway, I was like, all right, I guess I'm just going to play with the solo now. So I listened to the solo, and, at first I thought it was kind of weird because it was slow, and the song was a little more upbeat where the solo was playing. So I was like, all right, well, I don't know what this is going to sound like, but I noticed the solo was too long, so I asked my brother, like, where exactly was this intended to start? And he's like, oh, I think, maybe around here, I don't really remember. I'm like, okay. So I just started around where he said, which is around where I figured it would start, and I chopped off the end and faded out the end that I kept, and I was like, I guess that's just gonna have to do because it's too long, so I have to reduce the length. So, you know, at this point, the entire song is recorded. It's in the Audacity program. It's ready to go, you know, for finishing touches. And I re-listened to the intro, and man, I'm just not happy with it. Not happy with it. So, I do three things. I make three recordings. I call them neutral, bold, and hide. The neutral one is how I had it. It's just, you know, the guitar parts are there, both guitar parts are about the same volume, and it's just going to sound bad. The bold part is I turn up the guitar parts that I play. The reason for that is because I don't know the difference between his recording and mine, but when I strummed this guitar, it almost sounded kind of quiet, or like the individual like plucks of the string during the strum weren't as discernible on my strum as they were his. Like even when I tried to make sure they were, like you couldn't just hear the strum as well. I don't really know how to describe it. It was just different. And so I turned it up so you could actually hear the strums better. That was the bold. And then the hide is I turned my part down so that it was kind of hidden in the background a little bit. And it didn't sound as much like there was a random instrument coming in there every once in a while. So I showed that to three different people. One person liked the neutral the best. One person liked the hide the best. And then one person liked the neutral and bold the best. Either one of those will work. He said the hide was the worst one. He also said that he kind of liked the different textures of the guitar. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't know. You're a guitar player. That was my work guitar friend. I was like, maybe you appreciate this more than I do, because I don't know anything about guitar. So I had 2 votes for neutral, so it's like, all right, I guess I'm going to keep it in neutral, and it's just going to sound bad. Fine, whatever. He thought it sounded fine. I'm like, okay, neutral it is. So then the next thing I had to fix was, drink first. The next thing I had to fix was, I said that there were, like he played it off beat. So when I sliced and diced it, you know, moved everything around, like sometimes when he played off beat, the strums were long enough to carry over to the next strum and it sounded like a seamless transition. And then other times he played them way too short and it sounded like the guitar just stopped and everything fell off a cliff, and then he started up the next strum again sometime later. It sounded really bad. It's just like so I was like, okay, I don't really know what to do. I need to figure out a way to like hold out these strums. So I tried the good old copy paste technique that, you know, I looked online. It seems like everybody's tried this and had the same result as I did, that you copy the hold out part and you paste, and it sounds terrible. It sounds like it's just this little part on repeat. It sounds terrible. They describe it as like clicking. I don't hear the clicks, but yeah, you get the point. And I tried to mess with some fading techniques, and those didn't work. And finally, I was like, oh, well, maybe I should just put some background noise there, you know, because I noticed that it's complete silence where I had cut it, instead of having background noise, because he didn't have much background noise in his guitar, but there is something there, even if you can't hear it very well. So I cut some background noise from his other guitar part and pasted it over the whole intro. It sounded a lot better. Instead of strum fall off a cliff, it was more like strum, I'm purposely cutting this short, and now we're going to strum again. So it was a lot better. It sounded purposeful, you know, instead of like, what happened? So that was good, but it still wasn't good. So I was out of ideas though, and I was I was complaining to a friend about my problem. And he's like, why don't you try slowing time? Slowing time. Maybe that could work. So I looked up how to do that. Audacity can do that. It works like a charm. I took the holdout part, I slowed it down. Do I say how much in here? No, I think it was anywhere from like 15 to 50% or something. It extended the length of the holdout. Worked perfect. Absolutely perfect. It sounded like it was holding out the note. It was beautiful. It was awesome. I could not believe it worked, and I wish I'd known about it earlier. So, if you don't know about that, I hope that helps you. Because it was amazing. So, I think that was April 16th, because I know you're following on this. Oh, yeah. So, like 2 weeks later, that's when a slowing time was suggested. Worked like a charm. And then I played with volumes on the rest of it and got everything as good as I could, and voila! It was done. And you heard it. So, that's it. Hopefully you liked it. That was my first one like this. It was far from perfect, but it's done.